No, hombre, ahora. Ahora sí. Hola, buenas tardes. Good afternoon to everyone. Vamos a dar paso a este evento Demo Day de la iniciativa Distrito de Cambio Climático. Para hacer la apertura, la inauguración, contamos con Empar Martínez Bonafé, la directora general de Industria, Energía y Minas, que nos dirá unas cuantas palabras antes de que empecemos con nuestro programa. Gracias.
La verdad es que un placer estar aquí. Antonio Rodes, amigo y compañero de desvelos, ¿no? Y bueno, la verdad es que muchas personas conocidas conocidas porque sé que estáis haciendo, pues liderando diferentes iniciativas y eso yo creo que es lo importante. Como os decía, agradezco la oportunidad de estar aquí con vosotros hoy. Primero, porque para mí es un placer entrar en este recinto y ver en lo que se ha convertido después de que hace 5 o 6 años, ¿no? Entramos aquí algunos y vimos que esto había que rescatarlo para esto, ¿no? Para la innovación, para la empresa, para el entorno económico y, en definitiva, para la ciudadanía. Y, por tanto, yo creo que eso, de verdad, ya os digo, solo eso es un placer. Pero, sobre todo, también por ver que hay, que hay mucho dinamismo, que aquí hoy estáis convocadas una serie de organizaciones y de personas con capacidad de, como he dicho, por lo que he visto ya hasta el momento, de identificar y de liderar iniciativas importantes. Creo que el apoyo también, ¿no? y la implicación que tiene SUEZ y que tienen otras organizaciones que están colaborando con Distrito Digital, creo que es fundamental también para que realmente las iniciativas no sean solo ideas, sino que realmente lleguen a cuajar en proyectos que generen empleo y que generen actividad económica. Me parece también muy relevante y muy acertado el reto, el tema, ¿no? O el subject en torno al reto, que es el del cambio climático. Para nosotros, en la Consellería de Economía, para la Dirección General de Industria, Energía y Minas, para todo lo que tiene que ver con política industrial, es fundamental el reto del cambio climático. Es decir, no entendemos que la política industrial de la Generalitat Valenciana pueda estar aislada de una preocupación, de un must, ¿no? Vinculado a lo que es la lucha contra el cambio climático. No me voy a extender en los objetivos que se persiguen y la importancia de la sostenibilidad medioambiental, sino que donde voy a incidir es en la oportunidad de transformación y en la oportunidad económica. Es decir, creo que en el Plan Estratégico de la Industria tenemos 6 estrategias. Una de ellas es precisamente la de economía circular, pero orientada a que sirva la integración de la economía circular como una oportunidad para reposicionar tu empresa, tu negocio en la cadena de valor global. Es decir, no se trata de cumplir con la normativa A o B, se trata de ser capaz de integrar esas políticas para hacer de ello un vector de oportunidad. He tenido la oportunidad de conocer ya 2 startups que realmente están generando soluciones, evidentemente, que contribuirán a la sostenibilidad medioambiental, pero, por supuesto, 2 oportunidades y 2 iniciativas claramente empresariales, claramente económicas y, por tanto, con mucho recorrido por delante. Os decía, el Plan Estratégico de la Industria contemplaba ya desde el principio esta estrategia, pero ha sido en esta reciente revisión, nosotros cada año, en el marco de la estructura de gobernanza del Plan Estratégico de la Industria, revisamos con todos los sectores cuáles son las prioridades de actuación. Y las conclusiones de este año han sido precisamente que economía circular había de extraerse como un eje transversal a todo el plan, a todas las políticas, a todas las estrategias de innovación, de transformación digital, de energía, que ahora me detendré un momento en ello, de cooperación, de talento y de internacionalización, que son los 6 ejes, había de extraerse porque es el momento de la economía circular y de tratar de identificar y darle todavía más valor a ese tipo de iniciativas. Por tanto, política industrial, cambio climático o sostenibilidad integrada en nuestras propias actuaciones como empresa, como industria, es algo que es absolutamente prioritario. Y decía, y me voy a detener un momento en la transición energética. De nuevo, me remito a hace 3 años, 4, cuando iniciamos con el Plan Estratégico de la Industria, había un vector que era energía, ¿no? Y parecía que era como, uy, en un plan de industria, energía, ¿de qué estamos hablando? De los costes. Fijaos que no eran los costes actuales, ¿no? Pero bueno, en cualquier caso, ya era una preocupación de la industria ser capaz de hacer frente a los costes energéticos, etcétera. Bien. Pero insistimos desde el primer momento en que esa no había de ser la principal preocupación, sino la de ver cómo la transición energética es una fuente de oportunidades, es una fuente de oportunidades para el desarrollo de actividades empresariales. Creo que, de nuevo, esto, junto con la digitalización, genera una serie de oportunidades a las que no podemos dejar de atender. Y eso es lo que yo quería fundamentalmente compartir con ustedes, ¿no?, en el inicio de esta tarde, porque, como os decía, ¿no?, en el ámbito del propio Plan Estratégico de la Industria, ambos vectores están absolutamente contemplados. Por otra parte, hemos incidido también desde el minuto cero en la importancia de la innovación, por supuesto, la innovación fruto de la cooperación entre los diferentes agentes del ecosistema, de un territorio, el ecosistema de innovación y, por supuesto, la cooperación público-privada, entendiendo también de todos los agentes que interactúan en un ecosistema. Pero si me detengo en ello es porque, decía esta mañana también en otro lugar, creo que es el momento de sumar capacidades. Es decir, ¿cómo podemos hacer que la transición ecológica, que la transición energética, que la lucha contra el cambio climático sea un vector de oportunidad? Pues lo podemos hacer, creo, sumando capacidades. Es imposible hacer frente a determinados retos solo con lo que ya sabemos, uno solo, teniendo iniciativa y contando, evidentemente, con todos los recursos que podemos poner a disposición. Creo que esto es algo que siempre lo digo, nos debéis de exigir a la Administración pública. Nos debéis de exigir que facilitemos estos espacios de cooperación, que facilitemos la interrelación y la identificación también de capacidades en un territorio. A veces la oportunidad que tenemos en una dirección general, en un ámbito determinado, es la de conocer muchas realidades de un mismo territorio. Considero que es nuestra obligación la de facilitaros esa interrelación y quiero felicitar aquí a Distrito Digital porque lo estáis haciendo, promoviendo la innovación abierta y promoviendo estos espacios de interacción. Por nuestra parte, deciros que, además de hablar de política industrial y de cómo esto está integrado en unos ejes que llevan unos objetivos y que llevan unas actuaciones, es decir, esto no es filosofía ni es un documento que está en mi estantería, no es eso, es una realidad que, insisto, actualizamos cada año. Además, estamos trabajando específicamente en la promoción, ¿no?, de algunos ámbitos, ¿no?, de industria avanzada, como todo lo que tiene que ver, como decía antes, que se deriva de la transición energética, o podría hablar de la industria de la energía. Estamos hablando de almacenamiento energético, fabricación de baterías, pero no solo ello, también soluciones de almacenamiento energético diversas, o cómo potenciar el desarrollo del hidrógeno, pero no solo para su uso, su generación o su consumo, sino también para la fabricación de equipamiento vinculado a la generalización de la generación y del uso del hidrógeno verde. O actuaciones como puedan tener que ver con otra industria avanzada, con el ámbito espacial y aeronáutico. Esta mañana habéis tenido también aquí a otra persona que, liderando otra infraestructura, puede apoyar mucho el desarrollo de esta nueva industria en nuestro territorio. Y actuaciones también muy vinculadas a todo lo que tiene que ver con digitalización y energía, ¿no? Estamos en un momento de cambio de paradigma en cuanto a la generación, la distribución, el uso y consumo de la energía y, por tanto, eso, como digo, genera una serie de oportunidades que hemos de ser capaces de aprovechar. Bien, pues estas son algunas de las pinceladas de lo que estamos haciendo, en lo que estamos trabajando, y si las comento aquí es precisamente porque creo que pueden dar lugar a que también, seguro, que a muchos de los aquí presentes se les enciende alguna llamita que germina en alguna iniciativa. encontrarán siempre la puerta de la Dirección General de Industria abierta para escuchar todo tipo de iniciativas y tratar de darles apoyo, bien con las propias ayudas que ya tenemos contempladas o con las que ya estamos trabajando, o buscar iniciativas, buscar cooperación, buscar otros aliados en la Generalitat con los que podamos trabajar para que esas iniciativas privadas lleguen a buen puerto y puedan generar valor no solo para el que las lidera, sino también para todos aquellos que participan o que pueden estar en un entorno cercano. Esta es la línea de trabajo. Creo que es importante destacar también que la inversión realizada por pymes industriales va creciendo cada año y por eso también nuestros apoyos a esa inversión, subvencionándola en un 35%. Y si esto lo traigo aquí, es como decía, porque es un signo, es un síntoma de que hay un tejido industrial vivo, con mucha iniciativa, con capacidad de inversión y que además la está poniendo en juego. Esto está pasando en el 2021, pero ha pasado en el 2020, aún con un COVID, en un 2019 y en años también anteriores. Por eso, tenemos capacidades, tenemos iniciativa, tenemos diversidad. Creo que tenemos, además, agentes comprometidos con facilitar la innovación, pues solo me queda decir que creo que el éxito está casi asegurado. El resto hay que trabajarlo. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Ampar, por las palabras. Nosotros, bueno, yo soy Ramón López de AGBAR y mi compañero Alfred Comba de GELLIFY. Vamos a hacer una pequeña introducción de lo que es el programa para que no lo conozcáis. Excuse me, I will do the presentation in Spanish, but you can see the slides in English, so you can follow them. Okay. Distrito Cambio Climático. ¿Qué es? ¿No? A ver si consigo... ¿Hacia dónde tengo que apuntar? No, esta presentación es la siguiente. A ver... Uy, salta. Bueno, lo voy explicando, si no. Bueno, como hemos comentado, es una iniciativa de Distrito Digital de la Comunidad Valenciana que la estamos gestionando entre AGBAR, que somos una empresa de gestión de agua y de medio ambiente, que ya nos conoceréis, que tenemos actividades en tema de cambio climático, economía circular, etcétera. Ya funciona. Y GELLIFY, que es una consultora especialista en lo que es innovación corporativa, identificación de startups, etcétera. ¿Qué es esto de cambio climático? Pues al final lo que queremos ser es convertirnos en un espacio de encuentro entre diferentes actores con el objetivo de impulsar proyectos para contribuir a la sostenibilidad ambiental y sobre todo para luchar contra el impacto del cambio climático. ¿Cuáles son nuestros objetivos? Sobre todo es atraer startups internacionales, startups ya consolidadas, que ya tengan su producto en el mercado, pero que, por ejemplo, trabajen en otros países o incluso que trabajen en España, pero quieran ampliar su mercado y quieran que ayudemos a identificar partners potenciales, ¿no? Clientes potenciales con los que trabajar. Esto cambio climático, a nivel geográfico, estáis situado, como bueno, ya sabéis, en Alicante, Generalitat Valenciana, pero queremos tener un ámbito sobre todo europeo, internacional pero europeo. Por eso el scouting de startups lo estamos haciendo a nivel europeo. Las corporaciones y administraciones públicas son a un nivel más regional, pero lo que queremos al final también es posicionar este ecosistema a nivel internacional y crear nodos, crear enlaces con otras iniciativas similares que puedan haber a nivel de Europa. ¿Esto qué puede aportar? ¿Qué aporta? ¿Qué valor aporta para quien se suma? Sumarse a este cambio climático. Como habéis visto, lo que estés aquí no implica nada más que decir sí, quiero participar, quiero formar parte de esta red, de este ecosistema. Y si eres una empresa, una compañía grande, tu valor viene de que nosotros te vamos a identificar soluciones interesantes, tecnología, que vienen de esas startups, que pueden contribuir a que soluciones tus problemas, tus retos relacionados con el cambio climático. También organizamos sesiones, eventos en los que tú puedes participar, También somos altavoz para que tú difundas tus propias iniciativas en cambio climático y ayuda, como ponemos aquí también, a tema de reputación de marca y a establecer una red no solo con las startups, sino también creemos que es muy importante con otras compañías y las administraciones que participan. Si es una administración pública, pues al final te ayuda a posicionarte, ¿no?, como un territorio, como una administración, con un... estoy intentando traducir a tiempo real, me sale más fácil que decir en inglés, con un compromiso, perdona, fuerte en innovación. Puedes, como ponemos aquí, apoyar el emprendimiento, no solo, por ejemplo, acogiendo startups, como puede ser a nivel de una incubadora, sino no convirtiéndote tú mismo, administración, en un receptor, en un cliente de la tecnología de las startups. Contribuyes a solventar retos propios que tengas en materia de cambio climático y también, bueno, puedes ayudar acogiendo eventos, siempre lo decimos. Empezamos trabajando aquí en Distrito Cambio Climático dentro del edificio de Distrito Digital, la estación Distrito Digital, pero eso no implica que no, y de hecho en nuestro día, ¿no?, que podamos hacer otros eventos de difusión en otros territorios de las administraciones que se sumen al programa. Y después también queremos ayudar, obviamente, a que cuando identifiquéis una tecnología interesante en una startup y queréis organizar un piloto, pues a encontrar fuentes de financiación para poder llevar a cabo estos pilotos y estos proyectos. Y si eres una startup, obviamente, pues te invitamos a que te instales aquí, a que tengas tu oficina, tu delegación, el Instituto de Cambio Climático, bueno, ya conoces el espacio, ¿no?, con todas las ventajas que ofrece estar en un espacio, en una ciudad como Alicante y un espacio como este, como Distrito Digital, ¿no? Nosotros haremos esta labor, iniciativas como esta jornada para ponerte en contacto con gente que pueden convertirse en tus potenciales socios aquí en España. También te damos acceso, te ayudamos a presentarte a programas de financiación europea, financiación también estatal o a nivel de comunidad autónoma, y ayudaremos a definir estas pruebas de piloto y a mentorizarlas y ayudar a que al final lleguen a buen puerto y obtengas un resultado que sean interesantes para ambas partes. Ya le voy a dar la palabra a mi compañero Alfred, que os explicará esta primera parte de la iniciativa en qué ha consistido.
Entonces, esta primera parte de la iniciativa, lo que hemos hecho es realizar una open call, tanto para encontrar startups como para encontrar corporaciones, ¿no?, que es aquí lo que estábamos buscando. Esto ha sido una open call que ya hemos realizado, que ha estado 6 semanas abierta, en la que nosotros hemos intentado encontrar las mejores startups que hicieran fit a unos retos que os voy a mostrar a continuación, y a la vez también hemos intentado buscar y convencer a corporaciones y administraciones públicas como las que están hoy aquí presentes para que se sumen a esta iniciativa de cambio climático, ¿no? Estos son los 3 retos a los cuales hemos hecho foco durante toda esta open call. Hemos buscado startups, sobre todo, que hicieran foco en estos 3 retos, ¿no?, en todo lo que es resiliencia del territorio, para mejorar, prevenir y mitigar todo lo que son eventos climáticos extremos, por ejemplo, y también todo lo que es la parte de infraestructuras de las ciudades. Luego también el segundo reto que hemos realizado es todo el tema relacionado con Green Cities y sostenibilidad, todo lo que está en relación con la calidad del aire, con las Smart Mobility, la movilidad Smart de las ciudades, las zonas verdes y demás, ¿no? Y un tercer reto, que es el reto de sostenibilidad y buscar recursos, pues, en todo lo que es la economía circular, ¿no?, que a día de hoy está muy en boca de todos y es una parte muy importante de nuestro futuro, ¿no?, pues tener toda esta circularidad y buscar todas estas startups que promocionan soluciones para la mejora de esta economía circular, en eficiencia energética, wastewater y demás, ¿no? ¿Qué hemos conseguido en esta primera Open Call? En esta primera Open Call lo que hemos conseguido son que 50 startups hayan aplicado y hayan postulado para ofrecer una solución, para ofrecer su solución a alguno de estos 3 retos. Pero para conseguir estas 50 startups, lo que hemos tenido que hacer ha sido hacer un mapeo de cómo está todo el ecosistema a nivel global para poder encontrar aproximadamente unas 250 startups que más o menos hacían fit a los retos que estábamos buscando. Hemos tenido que contactar con ellas, hemos ido hablando con cada una de ellas y hemos convencido a estas 50 startups que se han presentado. Luego el problema ha sido seleccionar de estas 50 las mejores. Y ahora hemos seleccionado estas 30 startups, que son las startups finalistas, y hoy tendremos la oportunidad de conocer a 15 de ellas, y algunas ya han estado esta mañana en el evento que hemos realizado en paralelo. Y estas startups al final provenían, pues, de 10 países, ¿no? Principalmente sí que es verdad que la mayoría eran de España, que teníamos 16 startups españolas, pero también han venido muchas de Finlandia, de Suecia y demás. Y esto es un poco el overview de todo el proyecto, de lo que hemos hecho y lo que va a pasar a partir de ahora, ¿no? Pues como bien os comentábamos, lo que hemos hecho hasta ahora ha sido esta primera Open Call, realizar esta búsqueda de startups, invitarlas a que participen. Y hoy justo estamos haciendo este cierre, este evento, presentando a estas 15 mejores startups que seguramente o ojalá puedan realizar un acuerdo con alguna administración pública o con alguna corporación. Y es justo donde estamos ahora, ¿no? En la segunda última bola, que es el matchmaking entre corporaciones y administración pública y corporaciones. Entonces, ahora lo que vamos a hacer es crear este matchmaking entre las startups y las corporaciones para realizar estas pruebas piloto que deben mejorar y ser pruebas piloto innovadoras para todo el ecosistema.
Muy bien. Pues ahora daremos paso a nuestra compañera Cristina Ramos, que será la que ejercerá de conductora del resto de la presentación. Os irá introduciendo las diferentes startups que presentarán durante la jornada.
Hola, bueno, aquí creo que ya me conocéis todos. Bienvenidos al Demo Day y, bueno, vamos a empezar introduciendo el primer reto con que vamos a contar con Antonio Oliva de Plan Vega Renace. Este primer reto se centra en la resiliencia territorial, sobre todo en la búsqueda de soluciones a problemas la búsqueda de soluciones en prevención de riesgos naturales, ¿vale? Antonio Oliva.
Muy buenas tardes a todos. Agradezco mucho la oportunidad de que me hayáis invitado y poder representar al Plan Vega Renace en el Distrito Digital y por todo el aprecio y el cariño que me habéis dado desde esta mañana y la atención. También quisiera disculpar a Antonio Alonso y a Jorge Ocina, comisionados del Plan Renace, que no han podido asistir a este evento por motivos de agenda. Yo tenía un PowerPoint, pero no sé si...
Están en ello.
Vale. Bueno, pues lo primero de todo es que quiero tomar las palabras de Jorge Ocina, que señalaba en uno de sus artículos que el cambio climático es un riesgo silencioso pero constante y que estos efectos ya se están evidenciando en nuestra región del Mediterráneo. Muchas gracias. Como bien sabéis ya, el último informe del IPCC señala que efectivamente es el hombre el causante de manera certera de la aceleración del proceso de calentamiento global que se está viviendo a escala planetaria y que una de las regiones que más susceptible o más vulnerable de los efectos del cambio climático es la propia región del Mediterráneo donde nosotros nos encontramos. Y esto se ve favorecido básicamente por el incremento de los fenómenos meteorológicos extremos y la reducción de recursos hídricos, entre el incremento del nivel del mar, entre otra serie de características que tiene los efectos del cambio climático. Como bien sabéis, la temperatura es uno de los problemas más importantes que se están dando aquí en la región mediterránea, donde, bueno, sabemos que la temperatura ha incrementado entre 0,5 y 1,5 grados desde 1980 hasta la actualidad.
Me dejan los papeles.
Que el mar Mediterráneo cada vez está más cálido, dura más meses mucho más cálido y eso genera, evidentemente, un mayor número de noches tropicales también en los meses de verano y que hay una pérdida del confort climático en nuestra región. En lo referente a las precipitaciones, sabemos que hay una tendencia a la reducción de las precipitaciones medias anuales, que hay un menor número de días de precipitación, un incremento en el número de episodios de precipitaciones intensas y torrenciales, que la forma de llover ha cambiado en nuestra región. Ahora llueve con mayor intensidad en menores tiempos, lo que implica que eso genera efectos de inundación en nuestro territorio y que la reducción de las lluvias en las cabeceras de las cuencas fluviales nos plantea tener que buscar alternativas de aprovechamiento y de obtención de recursos hídricos que sean necesarios, a la vez que el incremento de la temperatura del nivel del mar Mediterráneo favorece la formación de precipitaciones cada vez más intensas y torrenciales, donde podemos encontrar episodios con precipitaciones de registros históricos como 300 y 500 litros, como sucedió en la Vega Baja. Y esto fue lo que pasó en septiembre de 2019 en la Vega Baja, en la que una gota fría, una depresión aislada de los niveles altos, como se denomina aquí en España, con una serie de otros factores y otros aspectos climáticos, generó una precipitación de registros de 300 y 500 litros en varios puntos de la Vega Baja. Como respuesta y oportunidad ante esta catástrofe, la Generalitat Valenciana, por medio del Consell, impulsa el denominado Plan Vega Renace, en el que recoge una serie de actuaciones, un total de 28 actuaciones, divididas o agrupadas en 4 ejes temáticos: infraestructuras hidráulicas, emergencia climática, desarrollo económico y sociedad. Por tanto, es en estos 4 ejes donde podemos encontrar las oportunidades que pueden ser más importantes para las empresas que hoy están aquí presentes para el tema de incrementar la resiliencia y adaptación al cambio climático. En este caso, en este sentido, lo que hemos hecho ha sido elaborar un decálogo general donde podemos encontrar, digamos, el decálogo o las oportunidades que puedan tener las empresas en materia de adaptación al cambio climático, incremento de la resiliencia de fenómenos meteorológicos extremos, el sistema de seguimiento meteorológico, alerta temprana, avisos a la población, la gestión inteligente de recursos hídricos, la apuesta por una mejora tecnológica en la agricultura y un turismo sostenible, actuaciones relacionadas con reducción de emisiones de CO2 y, por supuesto, apostar por los territorios resilientes, ciudades verdes y la sostenibilidad de los mismos. Como conclusión, desde el Plan Vega Renace nos consta y somos conscientes de la enorme labor, esfuerzo y dedicación realizada por el Distrito Digital de la Comunidad Valenciana durante estos meses en la búsqueda de estas empresas, que sin duda no tenemos ninguna duda de que estarán a la altura y que podrán cumplir con los objetivos que se están esperando. Y por último, quiero transmitir públicamente y en nombre del Plan Vega Renace nuestro mayor agradecimiento a vuestra labor y dar la bienvenida a las empresas que hoy están presentes. Muchas gracias por vuestra atención.
Bueno, a continuación, algunas de las startups que hemos seleccionado para este primer reto van a hacer su presentación. La primera de ellas va a ser Astra UTM y se suponía que iba a venir Fernando Acosta, pero no ha podido, ¿verdad? Sí. Bueno, te dejo al mando.
Hola. Hola a todos. Bueno, Fernando no pudo venir porque está en Colombia desarrollando negocio para Astra. Así que les voy a presentar un poco esta compañía que es disruptiva en el sector de los drones. ¿Dónde estamos hoy en día? Hoy en día estamos ahí, donde ya se está empezando a usar drones de una manera frecuente y recurrente en las diferentes industrias y ya empresas, no solamente el gobierno, sino empresas también están utilizando drones para pues, desarrollar su core de negocio. Entonces, Astra es un software especializado en el desarrollo es un software especializado en el manejo de drones en el espacio aéreo. Funciona de forma bastante avanzada. Maneja no solamente el dron como tal, sino maneja los diferentes actores que pueden, digamos, participar en el entorno aeroespacial. Astra entonces controla los drones, controla el entorno para evitar, por ejemplo, choques entre los mismos drones, que los drones pasen por donde no deben pasar y adicionalmente efectúa los vuelos de una manera segura. Aquí podemos ver unas pantallas desde cómo funciona digamos, antes del vuelo, el planning, cómo funciona el monitoreo del tráfico de drones en el tiempo real. Esto que les mencionaba, por ejemplo, choque de drones lo evita. Y adicionalmente, también puedes asegurar el dron, puedes ver quién está detrás del dron. En algunos países tienes que estar viendo el dron para poderlo, digamos, para cumplir la ley, pero en otros países se puede manejar el dron a través de esta misma aplicación. Entonces, digamos, un poco para resumir, Astra está 10 años por delante de lo que es el mercado de drones actualmente y como bien nos decía nuestro compañero, con este sistema se puede monitorear posibles problemas en tema de, por ejemplo, ayer el euro se desbordó. Con este tipo de sistemas se puede ayudar a combatir el cambio climático y el impacto que esto puede tener en las diferentes personas y en las diferentes economías a nivel global. Nosotros, Astra, pues, es una empresa que ya está actualmente manejando el área espacial de Dubái, Nueva Zelanda, Finlandia y Canadá. Digamos, es una empresa ya muy grande. Aquí empezó en España con algunos proyectos pilotos con Indra, pero también tiene proyectos en Italia, en India, en Australia y en Colombia. Entonces, queríamos presentarles esta compañía que es, digamos, el futuro de los drones a nivel mundial. Muchas gracias.
La siguiente startup que va a presentar es GEL Systems. Su CEO, que es Yusi, no ha podido venir hoy, ¿vale? Y van a hacer la presentación de manera online. Así es que los compañeros van a dar paso a la presentación que van a hacer en directo.
Yes, so okay. Hello everyone, my name is Jussi Gilberg and I'll be talking about GEL systems. The problem we want to solve is how to feed the planet in changing climate. So basically by 2050, we're going to need 60% more food from the same inputs, meaning fresh water, fertilizer. To reach this huge improvement in efficiency, we need dramatic leaps in crop production R&D. These leaps, on the other hand, cannot happen without next generation crop data. This is what we do. We've developed a maximally scalable solution for producing next generation crop data based on a smartphone and video intelligence. There are several business needs for such information, ranging from input optimization, yield quality and price forecasting to plant breeding and carbon sequestration verification. The technical innovation in our solution is that many key agronomic traits require visibility to the full height of the plant, and we decided early to augment the drone-based offering, as the drones can see the top 10 centimeters of the canopy. So we add more information to this by looking at the full height. Our system is based on a simple mechanical tool, a very low cost, low tech. A smartphone is used as a camera, and then with this device, we create visibility to all parts of the plant, record a high-resolution video, and then process that into meaningful traits for agronomic experts. Here's an illustration. Now I hope that you can see something. So here an illustration of what the video we capture looks like. So basically here you can see the low-tech hardware spreading the canopy, creating visibility to all parts of the plants, which is then processed with video intelligence, for example, to count the number of spikes or the seeds per spike. What we realized very early, however, is that in order to do this for all the different crops or the different growing stages, etc., we have actually a huge number of machine vision problems we need to solve. And we realized already in 2018 that we cannot do this like in the conventional means by annotating real-world data. So we decided to solve it with synthetic data. What this means is that instead of Instead of having massive amounts of real data annotated, we've created a virtual reality environment from which we can simulate almost endless amounts of image data to train the machine vision systems, which is of course much more cost efficient than working with real world data, and then train the machine vision models with this information. So training the models with 3D models instead of real world data. So in summary, what we do is that we combine a smartphone with low-tech hardware and video intelligence trained with synthetic data to create a cutting-edge canopy data with minimal investments. At the moment, we're taking the scalability even further and combining this information with satellite data. The system has already rather high performance, so the correlation between the, for example, yield and biomass estimates with the measured outcomes from the field, they are approximately 0.8. The business opportunity for such information is big. We've estimated to be more than 100 million euros annually. This is the serviceable addressable market. Most of it comes from the crop data market. For example, for the food processing industry and the testing, inspection, and certification markets. So they need such information for managing their supply chains. The market for the R&D professionals ranges from 30 to 50 million a year. But then finally, the synthetic data pipeline, so training machine vision without data, that's a business as such. And actually, at the moment, most of our revenues come from other industries where we're using the same technology to create high-performance machine vision systems without real-world data. We have a really good team with several experts from various branches of computational science, from 3D modeling, machine vision, probabilistic machine learning. The 2 agronomic experts, also with some exits from agtech startups, and business development professionals. This has kind of been a long way for us. What we're doing nowadays is based on my PhD work, which started in 2011 at Aalto University. So the company spun out 3 years ago, but we've been working on this for a bit longer. Thank you very much for your time. If anyone wants to talk, I'm very unfortunate I wasn't able to make it to Spain this time, but if anyone wants to talk, I'm very happy to do so. And here are some contact information that can be used to reach our team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, los siguientes son Ramp. It's going to be Hassan Malik, the CEO and co-founder. He's going to make the presentation.
Hey, okay. How does this work? So while we wait for that, so we're based in Helsinki, and we're focused on advanced AI, data fusion, massive amount of data set, and we've been incubated by the European Space Agency over the past 2.5 years. We've now rebranded and are set for further commercialization, so we call ourselves Climatica. It's my 3rd visit to Alicante. I'm very happy to be here. It's nicer here than in Helsinki, trust me, very nice. So what are we doing? So there's a key point here, climate and weather. So you start your day in the morning, you look at your phone, you look at the weather, and you say, okay, I could go for a run or do something in the afternoon, evening, or whatever. That's daily, that's short time scale. Climate is 30-year time scale. That's how the climate cycle works. So what someone did 30 years back impacts us today. And what we do now creates the future. When I'll be 77, I'm 47 now. So the time is now. We need to take exactly the right actions, and the problem is a mega scale problem. So we focus on climate impact assessment, attribution, and mitigation. So the talk earlier from Antonio on Vega Baja. I think that's the challenge that was covered. That's very much exactly what we do. So we live in this world today. This is happening, and this is happening on a sporadic basis. You can't really perfectly predict these events. Can you stop them? No, the answer is impossible. You can't stop any of this. So it's going to happen. You have to learn to live with it, and you have to learn to live with it in a very effective manner, and also not contribute to the disaster. You have to find a way to mitigate and then reverse the impacts as much as you can, and therefore it's a holistic effort. And so for us, the key is that, how does it work? Yep. So we want to make climate an everyday thing. So just the way you look at weather on a daily basis, you need to look at climate on a daily basis. And it has to be done for different user groups. So not just the individuals, it's local government, regional government, federal government, or central government. It's enterprise, it's industry. Industry 4.0 is all data-driven, and it's producing huge amounts of data. Logistics of the future, transport of the future, they're all producing absolutely massive amounts of data. So when the data is available, and it is coming out of silos, you need an ability to sort of pull in all the data, fuse all the data, bring it into a single unified platform. Why? Because the more data you feed to the platform from different use cases, the better the AI works, the richer the AI becomes. And in our case, we were very fortunate that 7 years back, the Thai government started a project for water risk resilience and mitigation. And that was for floods and droughts. And they spoke with SAP in Germany, they spoke with Oracle, they spoke with IBM, and we were a pitsy little company, and we were lucky that they selected us. And they gave us this massive national scale problem. And that was the genesis of why and how we got to this. We looked at such a broad data set, 19 primary data sets with huge amounts of detail. So first off, the way to solve, and I'm not saying this is where the story ends, we keep evolving this. We've been on this journey a number of years, we keep evolving this. So the first thing is to ingest and consume huge amounts of data. You then need to be able to fuse and assimilate huge amounts of data. Make that data meaningful to all of those different stakeholder groups that I talked about. And then essentially actionable. So whether it's central government or local government or enterprise or individual. And that's the journey we're on. And ours is a platform service. It's offered either as a PaaS or a SaaS, those that want to sort of look into it in more detail. But effectively what we follow is the 2P, 2R principle. Predict, prepare, respond, recover. Events will happen. We need to know if we can live here anymore, or we should move there, or we should put the factories there. That change has to happen because the cost, the risk, the damage, the disaster is absolutely humongous. So it's much better to look at attribution, as I talked about, assess, take the necessary actions. In the water cycle specifically, yesterday I was in San Javier and Mar Menor, the lagoon. So Mar Menor is suffering not because something's wrong with Mar Menor, it's because the environment is feeding all sorts of stuff into Mar Menor. So it's an environment impact problem. It is essentially a climate problem. So we offer all sorts of clever ways of putting the platform out there for customers to use it, add their data to it, which enriches the platform, and then from there on, of course, we have enterprise customers that pay for it, we have regional, local, or national government that pays for it. In case where the requirements are highly complex, as an example, then we work on that complexity with our partners. Okay, so here's an example, and I don't know whether this is the, Christina, is this the animated one? No? I think this might be the PDF. So anyway, that's the AI at play. This is what it's doing in Thailand. It's reading nonstop. It takes 30 years of historical data. It fuses that data, and it creates multiple versions of the universe going forward. And that's the only way you work out your risk mitigation, prevention, remediation plans. We do that on a national level, and we go all the way down to the local municipality, district, or sub-district level. In the Thai case, loads of specific requirements, all the way from dam-related data to water reservoirs and so forth. We fused data from European Space Agency, JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency, the Thai satellite system, which is from Cassidy and Airbus, and NASA, plus NOAA and about 41 Thai agencies. And the requirement was for floods and droughts. Here's the breakdown of the data set, 19 primary data sets. Okay. Again, huge amounts of complexity behind this. So it's an advanced AI problem. So when we talk about AI, AI is becoming commonplace, but advanced AI requires huge amounts of high-performance computing. It requires a lot of detailed work on a lot of synthetic algorithm development and so forth. So what this does is it gives you a real-time view of what's happening in your locality, how you need to manage the water cycle in this case, or mitigate against droughts. Thailand, just to share with you, is the #1 exporter of rice in the world. It's the #1 exporter of processed sugar in the world. They're also the Detroit of the East, car manufacturing and whatnot. So water is part of their economy in just so many ways. Too much water is a disaster, affects the industrial zones. Lack of water means drought. So these are simulations of what's exactly happening on a kilometer level. You can go down to sub-kilometer. Now we're working with satellites where you can go to you can start from a coarse resolution and you can go down to 100 centimeter type of resolution. Now, those are extremely expensive resolutions to work with. If you have tons of money to spend on it, you'll be able to see the follicles on my head, no problem. You don't need that for all use cases. So you really need to define, what your specific requirements are. But the key here is that there are huge amounts of assets out there, and there are companies putting out assets, Starlink and whatnot. Fuse all the data, put that data to use, make it actionable. How does this work? Yeah. Now, one of the most exciting use cases for us is smart cities. So again, what happens is that a smart city is a microclimate. And in a microclimate, you have a heat island effect, all sorts of local stuff happening. Now, in South Korea alone, they've just announced that they're going to be putting out, 5 million sensors in Seoul or something like that in the next few years. So those investments are happening. So again, you need a lot of ability to fuse that data and then understand how the local climate, the microclimate of that smart city environment works. And the same happens around the world. So all of these cities go smart. Again, the objective here is sense a lot and then mitigate against potential hazardous events and threats. That's us, my details. European Space Agency, thank you very much for supporting us. Thanks for having us here.
The next one is going to be Cuba Space, and the CEO, Tuomas Tika, is taking the speech now. So, you're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, good. So yeah, I'm Tuomas Tikka. I come from Cuba Space. I'm actually nowadays the co-founder and CTO, so I used to be the CEO for 5 years, so maybe small mistake there, but recent changes happening. So, but anyway, what our company is doing is we make hyperspectral satellites and do Earth observation with those. And the satellites that we do, those are quite small, just the size of pretty much a suitcase or something. Usually these hyperspectral satellites have been really large, these scientific satellites, the size of a car, but we have been able to shrink those instruments to a very small size, with still having the same performance as these previous satellites. And what that means is that we can launch many of these and provide frequent data anywhere on the globe. And the challenge that we try to help solve is, of course, the global ecological challenge. We need to be able to produce more food because of the growing world population, but what we don't want to do is to cut down any more trees. So we have to produce more yield with the same amount of farms or less amount of farms. And also at the same time, we have to cut down emissions. And of course, we need to cope with climate change. For example, there's many new pest outbreaks, diseases coming to different plants. Also, the adaptability of different plants is a problem to different new climates. And also, in many areas like Spain, is suffering sometimes from drought. And so, with our data, what we can do is to, of course, increase the yields by optimized farming practices, also help the farmers reduce their costs, to put less fertilizer, less pesticides in the fields, and also improve the environmental impact. And also recently we have been noticing that we can strongly contribute to the carbon offset market with our own verification tools, and also improve the bioasset management, for example, for governments. And here's something like the timeline of our company. So we actually started already in 2016 with a different name, Reactor Space Lab. And in 2 years, we launched our first hyperspectral satellite, and that was the smallest hyperspectral satellite ever launched. And after that, we have been developing that technology further with the National Research Center based in the very near proximity of our company. And also at the meantime, we have been developing 2 different satellites for the European Space Agency, which were launched last summer and have been operating also very nicely. And also last summer, we raised 4.2 million financing, and the purpose for that investment is to launch our first commercial hyperspectral satellite and also develop the hyperspectral data analytics. And once we launch the first one, we don't stop there. We will launch up to 40 of these satellites, and finally, in the end, we can provide daily data anywhere on the globe. And again, a bit more about the actual applications. I already mentioned this optimized farming to get better yields. So this is more like a precision agriculture, but we can also help farmers move to sustainable farming practices. And then if there are some pest outbreaks or disease outbreaks because there's not enough pesticides put somewhere, then you can do precision pesticide application, for example, or do precision watering, put the water where it's absolutely needed, and really optimize that. We can also forecast the yields on a global scale, that we know all the time how much food is being produced. And then financial traders can use this, of course, this information and make choices with that and make some more money. And we get some more money with that as well. Then also this asset management, for example, this is mostly for governments, for example, that you know what is the value of your assets, for example, forests and so on. And with, which is also very much related to this, is this carbon sequestration monitoring. So at the moment, this carbon trading market, it's pretty much like a Wild West. People are selling carbon credits. They say that they're conserving a forest or planting a forest, but the customer or the people, they don't really know if that's true. So what we can provide is very detailed maps, frequent maps of what is growing somewhere. We can even classify the different tree species in a forest and really give you daily data on the amount of carbon that has been removed from the atmosphere. So again, in short, so our company, we are doing the constellation of these small hyperspectral satellites with the aim to provide global daily data with the performance that is compatible with or comparable with the previous scientific satellites. We also do the miniature hyperspectral cameras to our satellites with a very good signal-to-noise ratio, all the way up to 2,500 nanometers infrared area, which is quite advanced for this kind of small satellites. And then a lot of work is being put to the advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning-based analytics. There's many applications we need to develop, and that's why we are also looking cooperation partners, because we need to have the ground truth data to develop the applications and train the analytics models. And in the end, what we try to achieve is to have a really affordable service that it can be also used in the developing countries. That's it, and thanks for the listening, and I will be happy to discuss with you after the presentations, and glad to be here. Thanks.
The next one is going to be with bumper, but unfortunately, Christophe couldn't be here, so it's going to be Sandrine, who is in representation of him.
Buenas tardes. Pues hoy estoy en representación de una empresa francesa, Bumper. Es una empresa que está ubicada en el País Vasco francés y que está especializada en soluciones de protección contra los riesgos climáticos. Bueno, un 60% de la población mundial reside a menos de 150 kilómetros de las costas, con lo cual cada vez más, cada vez que hay intemperie, pues nos vemos realmente afectados y con más magnitud. Eso lo vemos ahí, aumento del nivel del mar, aumenta de las frecuencias de las tormentas que son cada vez más potentes y sobre todo repercusión económica, sabiendo que un euro invertido para protección se puede ahorrar 7 euros, es decir, más vale prever que curar muchas veces. En el caso de Bumper, esta escala varía hacia 150 euros. ¿Cómo trabaja esta empresa? Esta empresa primero califica lo que ha pasado, califica el acontecimiento, mide las repercusiones, analiza el histórico y luego pues dimensiona la solución y proporciona una solución. Es decir, que en cuanto a la solución buscan los materiales adecuados, buscan en algunos casos la curva adecuada para proteger y luego pues realmente adaptan la solución a la problemática encontrada. Tienen dos tipos, una protección de primera línea y una protección cercana. Primera línea es directamente unas protecciones que se ponen en los diques, directamente enfrente, que tienen como objetivo absorber la energía de la ola y poder devolverlo al océano, al Mediterráneo, y luego pues también trabajan con un tipo de bolsa y ponen la protección delante. Y por otra parte, todo este tipo de protección son más bien de viviendas privadas o de hoteles o otros realmente en las zonas costeras. Los precios oscilan, esos más estándar, eso está pues a medida. Están presentes a nivel internacional, están presentes en Estados Unidos, en las islas, San Barthélemy, en todo el territorio francés, en el cual pues casi son casi líder, y están entrando en España, ya han empezado en País Vasco, en Galicia. Bueno, aquí podemos ver unos ejemplos. Aquí se ve claramente la absorción de la energía del agua y cómo devuelven al mar. Eso es Atlántico, en el Mediterráneo, en un dique. Eso en España, donde han protegido también todo una zona cercana a unas carreteras. España también. En Estados Unidos han sido seleccionados como la empresa que trabaja con los militares cuando hay huracanes y cuando hay problemas muy graves. Eso en este caso está atornillado al suelo. Y luego, pues como os decía, en las viviendas privadas tiene todo tipo de soluciones para proteger las puertas, las ventanas y otros accesos. Eso también, protección de duna, protección de playa, porque también luchan contra la erosión. Y actualmente pues están trabajando con lo que equivale aquí a la Renfe, SNCF en Francia, y están haciendo un test para proteger todas las vías ferroviarias que están bordeando una zona costera, y eso sobre 17 kilómetros. Entonces, bueno, están también para siempre cada vez más ser más eficiente, están trabajando con realidad aumentada para estar capaz de calificar y prever los riesgos y sobre todo los daños que puede ocasionar una tormenta y en este caso ir preparando todas las soluciones. Gracias, si queréis poneros en contacto con ellos, están en Biarritz, os pasaremos el contacto. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias. Bueno, ahora vamos a introducir la segunda vertical del programa, que se centra en ciudades verdes y sostenibles. Y en esta vertiente vamos a contar con Juan Antonio Moro, de Iberdrola, ¿vale? Para hacernos una introducción. Y en este caso lo que vamos buscando son soluciones relacionadas con aire limpio, ciudades verdes, movilidad inteligente y sobre todo concienciación de los ciudadanos, ¿no? Que es por donde empieza el problema.
Buenas tardes.
Tardes.
¿Tenéis vosotros las slides?
Sí.
¿O presento yo desde aquí? De acuerdo. Perfecto. Espero que me escuchéis bien. Juan Moro, de Iberdrola, como ya me han introducido, pertenezco al equipo de Perseo. Perseo es el programa internacional de startups de Iberdrola. Y bueno, por darnos un poco de contexto, ¿qué hacemos desde Perseo? Desde Perseo, digamos, podemos dividir nuestras actividades en dos grandes verticales, ¿no? El primero es el Corporate Venture Capital. Tenemos inversión a día de hoy en 8 compañías, de las cuales desde 2018 hemos invertido en 18, hemos salido de 10 y este año tenemos muy buenas noticias, ¿no? Porque 2 de ellas se han convertido en unicornio. Wallbox y STEM han empezado a cotizar en el NISE a principios de este año. En parte de innovación abierta, el equipo de Perseo analiza unas 300 startups al año, siempre centradas en materias de descarbonización, electrificación, soporte a la transición energética. Hablamos de tecnologías y nuevos modelos de negocio que tengan impacto en los negocios de Iberdrola. Pero como otras metodologías de innovación abierta, realizamos los 25 pilotos con startups al año, partes de los cuales vienen de los 10 o más de 10 retos que lanzamos a la comunidad startup intentando solucionar problemas que tiene a día de hoy la compañía. Otra de las áreas importantes es el Venture Builder. Intentamos generar nuevos negocios o nuevos modelos de negocio que bien resuelvan necesidades que vemos en el mercado hacia la electrificación de la economía o problemas de economía circular que podemos tener en negocios como el energético, bien sea de reciclaje, etcétera. Siempre intentando tener un impacto positivo, como he mencionado, en los negocios de Iberdrola y haciendo a la compañía más ágil y más competitiva. Pero centrándonos en el reto de Smart Cities, por daros un poco de contexto de cuál es la visión tecnológica de la compañía en materia de transición energética, desde principios de los años 2000, desde hace 20 años, somos pioneros en todo lo que tiene que ver con energía renovable, ¿no? Con la instalación de energía renovable, bien sea solar, eólica, hidroeléctrica y últimamente con el almacenamiento de baterías. Pero una vez que tenemos consolidado esta parte del negocio y todo el mundo, podríamos decir que gran parte de la sociedad está concienciada de que esta es la vía, todo va hacia la electrificación de la demanda. La electrificación de la demanda no es otra cosa que la descarbonización de la demanda, dejar de depender de combustibles fósiles a nivel económico para empezar a demandar a nivel electricidad, a nivel energético, ¿no? Aquí nos podemos centrar en transporte y edificios, que es lo que principalmente afecta a las ciudades, pero no menos importante, siendo uno de los grandes demandantes de energía, la industria, ¿no? Por asentarlo un poquito más, os presento la siguiente slide, que yo creo que lo deja bastante claro cómo vemos nosotros, ¿no? Desde principios de 2017 o antes de 2017 todos teníamos claro qué dispositivos, qué tipos de transporte, qué electrodomésticos, etcétera, funcionaban con electricidad, ¿no? Y según vamos avanzando, vamos viendo que hay otras cosas que los límites o las barreras de la electrificación, como aquí mencionamos, se van expandiendo, ¿no? En temas de movilidad, en temas de industria, en temas de edificios. En movilidad somos eh, muy creyentes en temas de movilidad, coche eléctrico, micromovilidad. De hecho, este año hemos lanzado un reto de micromovilidad intentando buscar soluciones de aparcamiento, custodia de recarga de patinetes eléctricos y bicicletas. Hoy en día empezamos ya a extender esa barrera hacia el transporte de autobuses y camiones urbanos, pero sin perder el foco y también haciendo proyectos innovación con transporte pesado de larga distancia, como es el corredor del Mediterráneo, ¿no? Y muy reciente ha anunciado la alianza Net Zero Mar, que lo que buscamos con esta alianza es la electrificación de nuestros puertos y la descarbonización del transporte marítimo. Obviando la industria, porque la dejamos un poco fuera de las ciudades, en temas de edificios, la mayor demanda en las ciudades de energía es en climatización de edificios, y cada vez vemos más que se habla más de la bomba de calor, la aerotermia, la geotermia, ¿no? Hay gente que confunde los términos, pero al final la bomba de calor es la tecnología que soporta ambos modelos, y somos firmes creyentes de estos edificios donde su consumo energético bien proviene de fuentes renovables, de grandes instalaciones que pueden estar gestionadas por Iberdrola o no, o instalaciones de autoconsumo y electrificación del calor mediante bomba de calor, bien sea aerotermia o bien sea geotermia. En este marco tan amplio hemos presentado el reto en el Distrito Cambio Climático, y bueno, intentando ajustarme un poco al tiempo, espero que haya quedado un poco claro cuál es la visión de Iberdrola en el reto, cuál es la visión de Iberdrola en las Green Cities y cuál es nuestra visión en la electrificación de la economía.
Bueno, en este bloque la primera startup que va a presentar es Awake, y para ello vamos a contar con Carno, que es el CEO, pero desgraciadamente tampoco puede estar aquí en persona, por lo que los compañeros le van a pasar online también y nos va a hacer una pequeña presentación.
Hello, can you hear me okay? So, can you see the presentation? Yeah. So, hi everybody. My name is Karan Tanova. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Awake AI. We have created the biggest innovation in maritime logistics since containers are moving from sail to steam, and we call this Smart Port as a Service. We are 24 people at the moment, with half of the team coming from Rolls-Royce Marine. We were there developing the world's first remotely controlled vessel, an autonomous vessel. Half of the team also have a Nokia and entrepreneur backgrounds. This year, we won the Frost & Sullivan's Entrepreneurial Company of the Year Award in maritime logistics. We have created a smart port and shipping ecosystem with over 100 partners. And the idea here is to create this network effect and learning effect, where together we solve these use cases instead of companies doing that in isolation. So this is a free to join ecosystem for any companies, big or small, to solve these challenges together. What we are actually solving mainly is how to optimize and automate the port call related processes. There is too much waiting times, too much sailing empty, and of course the emissions need to be reduced according to the IMO, EU, and the United Nations targets. It's a perfect case for an AI, since actors usually know about 24 hours forward what will be the status and what will happen. And planning is done by Excel, pen or paper. Even post-it notes are useful in many places. Communications are done by email, phone calls, and even faxes, WhatsApp messages, and nothing is really coordinated to the full extent. So for that purpose, we have created these solutions. First is to bring the actors together to collaborate. For that, we created the Smart Port platform, APIs, and web and mobile applications, so that everybody has the transparency what is going on. Then in the second phase, you can start to optimize it and offer new digital services like the AI-assisted planning solution and prediction services we have now launched to the market. On the third step, you can start to automate some of these processes. And we have started from 3 different processes using computer vision. We are automating the tracking and reporting inventory at the yard. We have also automated the requested time of arrival and departure for the traffic management. And then we are creating, together with European Space Agency, a marketplace for port services and products. We're automating that process. The last step here is that some of these processes will be autonomous, so they will operate without people in the loop. And for that, we have created this digital twin and simulation capability together with Port of Rotterdam. Everything is built on top of the Smart Port Data Platform. You can consider us as an optimization platform that we can create these optimization services to any other system using APIs. If they don't have a master system to work in, they can also use our web and mobile application layer. But essentially, we work with terminal operators, port authorities, but also with ship operators and cargo owners. The first thing you usually see in our solution is this, what we call Smart Port as a Service application layer. So here, every time a vessel is approaching the port, a communication channel is automatically triggered. You get to see the latest predictions and changes to them, but people can also communicate publicly and privately throughout the supply chain. We also have bots generating messages to support the information flow. We have created these prediction services for vessel arrival and departure times, now available globally. They are about 80% more accurate than any other predictions or data used out in the market today. 60 to 70 hours before, our relative prediction error is less than 5%. So clearly an industry-leading prediction capability. This already gives the possibility to reduce vessel turnaround times and CO2 emissions, usually by more than 20%. We are feeding those predictions also to our planning solution. Here, the AI is also generating these port visits, berth plans, many days and weeks forward automatically, and then warns actors if there are changes or overlapping plans or unsafe plans. This is something that we have developed together with Port of Gothenburg and launched to the market during summer this year. When the vessel has arrived to the port, we have then created solutions to monitor and track the cargo flow through the yard. So here, using cameras or LiDARs, we can automate the inventory reporting when, for example, a car has entered, moved, or exited an area, or what's the status of different container stacks, for example. We're doing this for cars, trucks, trains, trailers, bulk goods, and containers, everything really. In Hamburg, we have created an AI solution that optimizes their whole traffic. So here you see the arriving vessels, departing vessels, berth occupancies, tidal windows, and the AI is continuously giving those recommended time of arrivals and departures. In Valencia and Livorno, we have been part of this EU project leading the IoT application work to optimize the truck turnaround times from the factory to the port and back. So here we're using the same AI data pipeline we have created for the seaside. We're using that to optimize and predict the landside truck movements. Next year, we will be launching this marketplace for automating the buying and selling of port services and products, where we'll start with the port call related products and services like pilotage, towage, mooring, waste management, and electricity at berth. Lastly, I want to mention that we are continuing developing this digital twin capability for smart shipping. So something we started a few years ago with Port of Rotterdam now enables us to also create these dynamic and safe fairway capabilities you see on the picture on the right side. So no longer the fairways will be static, but they will also be changing according to congestion and environmental conditions. So with that, thank you for the time, and I don't know if there's time for any questions, but that's a short presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. El siguiente es Phoenix Group, que además empieza con un vídeo bastante guay, y va a presentar Luis González, que es el CEO y el co-founder.
Pues te lo enseño ahora, no. So, do I start now and then I ask for the video after? Okay, not yet. Okay, hi. My name is Luis. I'm the CEO and founder of Phoenix Group. We're a software development company, and our primary target is on gaming and esports. 2 years ago, we started a joint operation with national esport associations in United States, and they are the leading association on engagement and gaming in North America. Our project was planned to start before COVID, but of course when COVID closed all the schools, so we had to came up with a new plan, and we found a project with inside Minecraft that build your green community. And you can start the video on. So basically, what we are doing is teaching. We have kids, schools from United States and Spain, and the idea is to combine them together as a team and then build a green environment in Minecraft. So it's a competition where they build green cities using green energy, green transportation, recycling, and second part of the project is learning the language. So basically it's Spanish and English trading. Sound is missing from that now. But yeah. So that video was done yesterday by our students in USA, and so here is the project. Wait, sorry for the... Sorry, now I have now something wrong on the presentation, but yeah. So it's here. Yeah. So the idea is that we are trying to find from schools from Spain and then partnership companies that would partner and help guide the students in Spain and United States. At the moment, we have a first pilot starting with the Florida school district, and hopefully with Alicante and Valencia and municipal and the schools from this district. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is going to be Brighter Beans. And Imdad Laskar, yes, please. The COO is going to make a presentation.
Sorry, there is a mistake. I am Noman, the CEO.
Okay.
And Imdad could not come, so.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you. So next 5 minutes, we will speak about garbage. I am Noman, the founder of Smart Ends. With Smart Ends, we have made an intelligent waste collection system. We call it Brighter Bins. What is the problem with waste collections? Waste collections are not optimized. Our cities are dirty because bins are either picked up too early or too late. This is waste of time, resources, and money. And there is too much CO2 emissions because we are doing too many unnecessary truck routes. What if these bins could talk and tell the garbage collectors when to pick them up? This will save up to 50% costs. There will be reduced CO2 emissions and no trash on the ground. At Brighter Bins, we created a solution that consists of smart sensors and a routing application for garbage trucks. Our sensor has a unique tunnel design that makes it possible to use 3 different sensing technologies. We are using laser sensing, we are using ultrasonic sensing, and we are using camera sensing. In addition to that, we are implementing location intelligence with the help of European Space Agency. Ultrasonic sensor we use for liquid waste monitoring. Ultrasonic sensor works very well on liquids, so liquid waste oil, wastewater. With time-of-flight laser sensor, we are detecting solid waste, and it can provide us a 3D image like this from your container. So you can see which part is full, which part is empty. And the next technology that is under development is the camera sensing. With the camera sensing, we will be able to identify different items in waste. This will help recycling companies to recycle better. With our route optimization software, we find out the best route for the garbage trucks. This saves a lot of CO2 emissions and money to the collection companies. I have some interesting examples to share with you today. In 2019, we deployed 2,000 Brighter Bin sensors in the city of Sheffield in UK. This installation is there for more than 2 years, and this is saving around 30% cost for the collection company. Now, this is the public bins use case, but there are many interesting use cases in commercial space as well. For example, this one. Here we are helping a Belgian company that collects waste oil from restaurants like KFC's, Burger King's, and all these restaurants. They have 75,000 collection points in Benelux, France, Germany, and UK. They have a truck fleet of 200 trucks, and with our system, they believe that they can reduce this truck fleet to 140 trucks. This will be huge cost saving for this company and huge benefit for the environment. Another interesting use case is smart buildings. We are working with some real estate companies in Paris where we are installing our sensors in different apartment blocks. The idea is to do some gamification between different communities to find out which building is more sustainable, which community is more aware of their garbage patterns. So this will be an interesting use case going forward. We are working with many real estate companies. Another example is optimizing the food waste. Now, this company is from Belgium. They collect food waste from big food industries like biscuit factories, big bakeries. They bring it to their central location in Belgium. They process it and make animal food from it. So their problem is that they are also collecting on a schedule. With our sensors, they can collect when the containers are full. This helps them to increase their production and reduce the collection times. We have a flexible business model. We don't force customers to buy whatever we have. We are very flexible. Some customers can buy only the sensors. Some customers can buy our open API. Our open API can talk to any third-party platforms. And some customers buy our routing solution with the mobile app. So customer can pick and choose what they want from us and what they want to develop themselves or use third-party systems. Today, we have 10,000 sensors in 15 different countries, and we are currently producing 15,000 sensors because this is the demand for next 6 months. We are working with many city councils, including Sheffield, Delft, Hasselt, Luxembourg, Oslo, and Kyiv. We are working with big, interesting companies like Northtech from UK, Moloch from Finland. We are 20 people in the company. Me and Imdad, we are the two founders. We bring 25 years of experience working with big companies like Cisco and Technicolor. So, if you believe that every bin deserves a brain, you can talk to one of our salespeople. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The next one is going to be Sarah Weiss. Marcus is coming to make a presentation, and he also has a nice video to show us. So, please. Vamos mal de tiempo, ¿verdad?
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Markus Syrjänen. I'm a CEO and co-founder of a company called Sarah Weiss.
No, mire Pepito. Y sube, ya está. Ahí, bueno, recuperamos uno más.
Again. Sarah Weiss is founded 2015, and it's founded by Finnish firefighter and me. First, we created a game that teaches children fire safety and first aid, but then we figure out it's not a business, unfortunately. And now we have a game that teaches environmental things to children. We want to make learning fun, and that's why we have a Rescue Busters EduCycle AR game that is full environmental learning game and best one in the world, believe it or not. It uses accurate information based on Paris Agreement on climate change, and it's very interactive AR board game that shows player that what happens to world when you make right or wrong choices. It's for very large age group, from 6-year-old to 15-year-old, but also older people can play it in universities, and why not adults with children. There is now a generic map, but we can change the map to look like Spain, Alicante, Valencia, whatever we want, whatever client wants, and we can add there more things that there is now. There is not now good things and bad things you can do to the world and see the impact of your choices. It's much more powerful to see in real life 3D what happens to the snow, what happens to the ocean, what happens to the grass and everything when you make like coal energy or petrol cars. So it's very powerful. It's very good game for companies to sponsor for schools, because we can put the companies can be shown on map, so we can put the company buildings there, cars and everything, and the graphic is so good that we can put the company CEO waving on the balcony if you want. Future developments, what we have are in-game purchases, maybe. That's not in our list for first, but we would like to have recycling game in it, tasks, and this kind of more things in the game. New thing what is coming now from us is where do I show this? Why doesn't it? Yes, EduCycle Phenomenal Circular Economy course. The challenge is that there's a lack of high-quality educational content for environment, climate change, and global circular economy mechanisms. And the impact of existing educational content and methods or knowledge and attitude are not so good. Knowledge implementation into real-life actions, but most of all the understanding of problems in learners' own living environment, understanding climate issues in global scale, and understanding grassroots effect in global level and other way around. Our goals are to create impact in attitude and actions towards clean local living environments, create cornerstones of change, promote and add value combating climate change, and improvement of competences of teachers to empower students with entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurial mindsets in green tech, so we can have more and more green tech entrepreneurs in the world from young age, starting from young age. And our solutions are professionalization of teachers' competences in circular economy and phenomenon-based learning. So we want to design an integration of a digital learning environment with our EduCycle IR environmental game that concretize climate and environmental issues. And so we're going to have this kind of online material, what is an ecosystem with our EduCycle game. We would like to design highly professional learning content, and we are going to do it with EduEffect Ltd and EduExcellence Ltd with Finnish Universities of Applied Sciences. So, because we want to be the best in the world, teach environmental things to children and young adults. What we are looking for Spain, we are looking for company sponsoring, distributors, cooperation partners, investment and cooperation with Spanish schools, cities and ministries. Here is our cooperation partners now. So EduExcellence and EduEffect. In Nordics is our distributor in Hong Kong. Nordic Stone is our new distributor in Vietnam. Ilona IT is a distributor in Finland. Neste is our global, it's the biggest oil company in Finland, and that's our global cooperation partner, Finnish Circular Economy Association and Merlin Tech in United Arab Emirates and in Bahrain. And here is the founders, Jussi and me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next guest is Svante. He's the CEO from Skyfora, and that's the next startup that's it's going to present. So please.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Yo voy a presentar en inglés, pero podemos hablar después en mi mal español si ustedes quieren. So we are a meteorological technology company from Helsinki, Finland. And Finland has a long tradition of meteorological technology, and I think it's because the weather is always bad in Finland, so we have to be well prepared for it. And our vision is to, or what we're doing is we're updating weather technology using general new technologies, artificial intelligence and ultralight electronics that are now available and can make both meteorological measurements and forecasts better than they have been before. So as we all know, there's much more severe storms, heavy rains, also here in Spain, like the 2019 Vega Baja floods, and now the inundations of the river Ebro, and all around the world we have this kind of issues, but the meteorological technology is not developing as fast as we would like to, because there's quite few companies in this sphere, and many things are controlled by government who don't always want to take risks with new technologies. So we have developed new types of forecasts and also measurement instruments. At the moment, we're selling artificial intelligence forecasts for tropical storms, particularly. And the idea with all the types of artificial intelligence forecasts that we're doing is we're taking the government forecasts that come in every 6 hours, and we augment it with other data. So if there are local measurements of any kind, in this case, mostly satellite images if we're far away somewhere at sea, but we can also include sensor data, radar images, and so on, to give updates of the forecast, make it more accurate, more frequent, so we get a new forecast that's more accurate every 10 minutes instead of every 6 hours, a less exact one. So that's the forecasting philosophy. Then we have made weather instruments about 10 times lighter than the alternatives in the markets today, and because sensors have become small and cheap, we can have two times more sensors and much more parameters and accuracy in these instruments. So we have done pilot projects of this sort, and this is something that we are looking perhaps here in this region to pilot as well, to extend the artificial intelligence forecast from the tropical storms that we are selling currently to forecast rainfall, thunderstorms, other meteorological phenomena, where we take in government forecasts, we take in local measurements from radar, weather instruments, lidars, and so on, and we update the forecast more often and give more exact information. This is a picture of our stream sonde. So like I said, it's very light. It consumes very little energy. Batteries are as small as 2 or 3 grams. It can communicate data over radio or over cellular network, low power wide area networks, or just connected to USB. It can be powered by the battery itself, by solar panels, or other energy sources. It measures the basic meteorological variables: pressure, temperature, humidity, wind, and it also can measure turbulence with the new sensors. So it can be used as a flying device, as a weather balloon radio sonde. It can be dropped from planes or drones into something that you're interested in, or we can just fix it onto a local station, or put it, for example, on a truck or a boat. Here are some of the use cases we have. So it flies independently, and because it's so light, it falls very slowly, and it really follows all the small vortices and the turbulent features of the flows, and we can do 3D images of storms and clouds in much more detail than before. And then we have some more advanced applications where this turns into a type of a satellite, even though it doesn't fly to space. The point is that currently we have weather balloons, and stations are measuring where they are, but by calculating the delays to satellites, this is an area known as GPS meteorology. By calculating the delays, we know how much humidity is on each of these lines, and when we have photodiodes that can sense how much sun, infrared, and ultraviolet radiation is coming in, we can calculate the weather also everywhere around these devices and get completely new types of weather information. And we envision making weather gamified. So we are discussing with some gaming companies from Finland to change the weather graphics from this kind of two-dimensional maps and
things that are maybe sometimes hard to understand to very intuitive ones where you can compare yesterday's forecast, what happened, what was forecasted, and take from a historical catalog the similar days from the past, and in this way make meteorology more, let's say, democratic, for that anybody can understand what is going on with these graphics. We have lots of electronics engineers with long experience in this field and in GPS engineering and so on. We have several developers with PhDs in artificial intelligence and so on. We're backed by the European Space Agency and by some local well-known Finnish VCs. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Vale. El último reto que tenemos, que nosotros hemos planteado, es el de gestión sostenible de los recursos. Y como introducción tenemos a Carlos Casas, de Bectalia, que nos va a hacer una breve introducción de cómo gestionan ellos este tema y cuáles serían a grandes rasgos los retos que ellos tienen dentro del marco de cambio climático. Por favor.
Good afternoon to everybody, and thank you so much for inviting us to this event. My name is Carlos Casas, Dr. Carlos Casas. I'm the head of the Department of Strategy and Innovation, and I would like to show some figures and some slides in order to present our company profile. Our core business, as some of you probably know, are in the field of mobility. We develop and we carry out transport services in the urban and interurban activities. Also, we develop other business lines related to facility services, cleaning, maintenance, security, and biosecurity. We manage parkings, municipal services like tow, for example, advertising, and also we provide some services related to restaurants, catering, wineries. But our core business, as I mentioned previously, is urban and interurban transport. This is the core activity of our company. We manage also stations and provide other services like parkings. We have presence apart from Spain, in France and Morocco, and we carry out this portfolio of services. I don't want to extend more in this. I prefer to focus on the challenges. Other things that are important in order to understand our challenge is our business strategy, mobility services as a core part of our strategy, the diversification strategy. You have seen the different kind of services, biosecurity, cleaning, maintenance, security and safety, parkings. That we have a broad portfolio of services. Internationalization is another part of our business strategy, digitalization, and our commitment with sustainability, environmental, and social items. And that's the way, and that's the reason, because we would like to present this challenge linked to the management of circular economy in mobility services. According to this challenge, we would like to fulfill and to reach some goals in the whole cycle of circular economy. And for this reason, in the next slide, we will present the goals and the approach and the requirements for this challenge and the expected results that we would like to obtain with this possible collaboration with the environmental of the startups environmental. Goals and approach, the main is to develop a global solution for the circular economy management. This is our main goal for mobility services. Also, sustainability, energy efficiency, and environmental focus of the solution, and to reduce the carbon print and the raw material consumption as a part of the cycle of circular economy. The requirements that we are going to expect from the solution of the different kind of startups that will attend our challenge is to cover the different stages that we see in the previous slide related to circular economy, the different steps, the coherent with the sector trends, and the easy implementation of the solution, and also to provide us some tools in order to manage in an easily way the whole cycle of circular economy. It's a great challenge, I know, but it's a good opportunity for the startups to provide a service or a product with some guarantees in order to reach the goals of a sector of mobility like us. The expected results, obviously to reduce the carbon print and the use of raw materials, to receive a positive performance in the field of KPIs or economic indicators according to the circular economy activities, and the most important, to provide us a global solution for the circular management in our company, in our system. And we will be expecting the different kind of solutions for the international startups. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Carlos. Vale, vamos a dar paso a Mark Eulen, de Keo Connectivity. Tampoco van a poder estar aquí, así es que lo van a hacer online. Vamos un poquito apretados de tiempo. So time is a little bit tight right now. So let's see.
No problem. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Eulen, and I'm happy to introduce Kia as part of the digital district here for the Climate Hub. We are a company coming out of Cologne, now setting up foot in Spain, bring our solutions in the field of smart connectivity, in the field of smart energy to you. Basically, we network all the devices you can see here on the screen in an interoperable and sustainable way. Our customers are basically the top players out of the European automotive, heating, smart metering, and engine-manned industries. And the question is, how did we achieve that? And what we want to bring to the Climate Hub is the EEBUS standard. And EEBUS is the global language for energy in the Internet of Things. EEBUS was born throughout the idea or the realization that there are volatile energy resources. So basically, looking all over Europe, you have more renewable energies that cannot be calculated so easily. And you have on the production side a high flexibility in the net, because the sun is not always shining, the wind is not always blowing. And on the other side, we have huge demand of upcoming heat pumps, or the huge demand of electric vehicles all across Europe. Taking in consideration that 80% of every electric vehicle charging will be done at home. And this will have a huge impact on the grid and on the electricity supply in the buildings and at home. So there will be a huge demand of under and oversupply scenarios in the overall grid, and a loss of comfort for the end customer, basically, and for the all the parts of the grid. So there is really a high demand for having a harmonized energy system, having energy management systems in place. And this is what EEBUS as the local or the language of energy does. EEBUS is a German-based but European approach, non-profit organization working with all kinds of international standardizations together and are a bundle up of the main stakeholder industries that feature these energetic devices that either supply or produce, consume much energy. Basically, like the alliance of the German car manufacturers, all brands coming from Germany producing cars or working in the car manufacturing are part of the EBIS initiative. All brands importing to Germany. So you have basically every brand you can find as well on the European landscape being part of the EBIS initiative and the overall German heating sector and producer of heat pumps, as well as other main stakeholders of the European energy systems with companies like Hager, Schneider Electric, or PV leaders like SMA and platform companies like Microsoft. Taking just a look into the automotive industry, we see that basically with the start of the Audi e-tron, the first cars and charging infrastructure featuring the EBIS technology were brought to market internationally wide, and the Volkswagen Group with all their brands like Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche, Seat, Skoda, and so on, is using the EBIS standard as their way of connecting electromobility towards the smart home, the smart building, or the smart premises. Further on is the case with BMW is featuring their vehicle to home or vehicle to grid scenarios via EBIS, and many more international automotive OEMs set up on this solution. EBIS, as I said before, is really industrial type of standard, basically saying whole industries like the automotive sector or the heating sector, defining their most important use cases that are then put into a norm, an open standard that can be seen on the internet, downloaded by everyone, and has found its way into the international norm conform standardization like Sensenelog or ERTSI, and it's featured in many markets in Europe. Basically, the idea is to really allow for interoperable way of the use of energy without the loss of comfort for the end customer or the parts in the system, to really have a digital interface towards the grid, to be a solution business enabler who wants to set up on either the use of production of energy in this field, and to really be a plug and play standard or let's say technology you can use. The main parts where this is applied is really the holistic energy management towards the home, having this basic scenario here with a connected smart grid, EMS in the middle in the home that really controls the PV production, the usage for like white goods, the battery storage, the charging from energy from EV cars, all the use of energy use, either of heat pumps or air conditions. This standard is really used for the local part as well to the grid connection part, using smart tariffs or let's say use cases for capacity management. And this is just a short list of the EBIS use cases that are already in the field. You can see today here there are like 30, 35, and there's still more upcoming. How this standard is used in really mass market products all across Europe to allow for smart and sustainable use of energy to counter over and under supply scenarios in the grid. And this is what we as KIO are looking for into our partners in local projects in Spain and European projects to bring really to the market, basically everywhere where electro vehicles are connected towards the home, where smart heating or smart air conditioning is applied, and where smart grid scenarios need to take place. This is where EBIS comes into place, because it's the unifying language of energy, and this is what we as KIO are doing. We are looking forward for partnering and potential projects in this climate change hub and to work with you. Thanks a lot from my side.
Thank you, Mark. And the next one is going to be Cedars Capital, and Emad, the CEO and co-founder, is going to make a presentation for us.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me here. It's great to be in Alicante. I know you're pretty tired, it's towards the end of the day, so I'll try to be short and to the point and add value to your trip. So Cedars Capital is established in Egypt and in Spain. We're active in several solutions, clean air zones, zero waste zones, and clean energy zones. I think what we do provide, air is massively important at the moment. We're not just referring to virus spread, we're referring to the well-being and the functionality of every human being. The numbers are staggering. If we look at why pollution matters, for example, just pollution, we're not talking about viruses, we can find that our income is influenced by pollution, our child's health is influenced by pollution, and actually we breathe more than 20,000 breaths per day, so it's 20,000 chances of actually getting something good or bad. We spend 90% of our time indoors. So it's very important to transform the air that you breathe indoors. Pretty much the cause of all the tiredness that we have now is air, water, and food. These are the three main inputs for every human being. So if we take air, for example, we can transform that and we can build a lot on the value that we bring to people's lives. We work on air outdoors and indoors, and we'll focus today just on air. So outdoors, we monitor real-time, minute by minute, what's happening everywhere. You get parameters, you get indicators, the trend, you can predict whatever's going to happen. Nitrogen oxide, you can take guided decision-making, you can say when can cars drive here, whether there should be taxation, is it next to a school or not. These solutions have been implemented in England, in Camden, with more than 250 sensors, the most densest sensor area in England, and it's replicable everywhere. So you get data intelligence, you don't buy any hardware. It's a subscription service, it's a Netflix model. So you buy the readings and you buy the decision making. And it's much, much, much more modular and economical than other solutions. Now indoors, we transform the air indoor. We're not talking about filtration. That's a byproduct of what we do. But we're actually talking about higher productivity. We're talking about better energy levels, higher energy levels, being more creative, adding more to your well-being, increasing occupancy in hotels, increasing occupancy in business, and making your return on investment in that building way better and way higher. How do we do that? We start by monitoring, and then we treat and optimize. So it's a climate-controlled and optimized zone. Many of the benefits that we provide to these solutions actually include not just, as I said, a healthier indoors, a green indoor, but actually greater productivity and minimal virus spread. We start by, we combine several advanced solutions that has been implemented everywhere to provide a one-set solution for entities to monitor, treat, and optimize their indoor experience. The first thing is monitoring. This is the Yuhu monitor, the most comprehensive monitor on the market, and you monitor more than 20 parameters in real time, minute by minute. Not just that, it helps you save on energy, it helps you optimize the sound and light experience in the workplace, and it tells you an indicator whether the environment that you're staying in actually is conducive of virus spread or virus survival. It's continuously benchmarked against the World Health Organization standards, so you're always having an indoor environment that is safe, conducive, and as I said, that's very important because 90% of our time is spent indoors. Now, this is the first thing. The second thing, of course, to other filtration solutions that we have, we want to add value. We want to make the place more green. We want to enrich the experience. These are the Nava walls. We have a sample of that in the other building, and we would be happy, so happy if you would have a look at it. These are carefully selected plants that work on specific chemicals, specific particulate matter, specific pollution. It captures them. It ventilates the air, so it's a filter. It's not just you're having plants and that's good. but it's actually a filter inside, and it waters itself, so it's completely automated. The only thing that you have to do is get a notification on your phone, this plant is about to die, and you click order, we get it and change it for you. So it's complete hassle-free. The second thing is indoor carbon capture. Pretty much of why people feel tired and dizzy and drowsy towards lunch and after eating and staying in a place a long time and in board meetings is the increase in carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, we can capture that outdoor. We can capture that from the device. And we can actually decrease the carbon dioxide so the indoor environment is actually balanced more towards oxygen levels. So greater creativity, better decision-making in board meetings, and more understanding to what is actually happening in the meeting and in the workplace. Of course, that is all monitored room by room. If you're in a hotel, in a building, in a business branch, in whatever, everywhere around the world, you can have it monitored and optimized and actually time present. So if you have your people operating from 9 to 5, you can have the system operating from 8 to 6, or you can actually have it operating whenever there is a trigger. But yeah, I can actually take all this hassle off and we automate this system for you. And you can tell the whole world what you're saving them from. You're not just saving them from virus spread, pollution, but you're actually increasing their cognitive abilities. You're increasing them from all the research that has been linked to cancer, all the research that has been linked to preterm birth and low birth weight, and more and more and more. And this is in a nutshell what we do in clean air zones, indoors and outdoors. We also have modular solutions for automobile and, as I said, in waste zones. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you.
Okay, the next startup is going to be Trombia. They are not here either, so we are going to put them online as well. And the presentation is going to be made by Antti, the CEO.
Hello, good afternoon. Yep, I'll just get the share from here for you. Good. So greetings from Finland, from Trombia Technologies. My name is Antti Nikkanen. I'm the CEO of Trombia. We are going to today just walk you through what we've done with the Smart City Helsinki last spring, where we piloted in a first commercial pilot the city street cleaning at midnight in the middle of traffic. And what made this quite a unique setup is that we are doing a fully autonomous, fully electric, carbon-free street cleaning operations with a sweeper device that is our main product and main flagship. So this is something that we are helping cities these days to do, to explore the opportunities of autonomy with actually something that is realistic. If we think of autonomous taxis or buses or any other vehicles, none of them will be as approachable for smart cities as slow-moving off-road maintenance vehicles, such as street sweepers. The world's fastest and most efficient street sweepers are basically going down 2 to 4 kilometers per hour. So you actually have a real case here that can really help the city to be more clean and greener at the same time, while exploring their autonomy. And that's what we did with Helsinki. We run with the Helsinki Smart City program in the middle of Jätkäsaari smart region. It's a relatively newly constructed suburb where obviously the roads are a bit more designed for and a bit more newer, so that was a easily accessible one. What we did with the Trombia free sweeper that you can see here on the slide, we recorded the map of the city into the 3D point cloud memory of the sweeper. After that, we trained the sweeper to take care of a certain specific area of the city center. And the total lap was around 11 kilometers, total of cleaning area around 20,000 square meters. So it was really a decent task that we continued for 2 weeks in the Helsinki city center. What made this very unique was that there was no special restrictions or any safety arrangements. So we basically went through in the middle of traffic without obstructing traffic. We wanted to explore how an autonomous sweeper can really work and how does it interact with other vehicles. And that's what we can offer also in Spain now. Some of the main results that we achieved and what drives the main interest, of course, safety is the first concern. There were 0 safety risks or incidents during that 2-week period occurred. Every single vehicle that passed by the Trombia-free sweeper passed them like they would do with a manned vehicle. So that's a very promising signal towards autonomy with slow-moving vehicles. Cleaning efficiency-wise, we do have a very specific and unique street sweeping technology inside the sweeper. The performance level is was measured even higher than the regular sweeping fleet that the city was operating in that time. Costs, obviously, when we move towards autonomy, there will be cost savings, efficiency savings, but even more improved cleanliness. Very critical thing, street sweeper is the most polluting maintenance vehicle in any city's fleet in the world at the moment. By turning diesel-fueled street sweepers into something electric, it will lead also to very dramatic CO2 emission cuts. And I'm going to just today skim through the case, but we do have the full case study published on our website. One of the main things that we achieved was probably the noise level. We did monitor how the city center people and passersby, how did they react to this sweeper. Going in the middle of the night with a high power cleaning equipment into the city streets, it's typically something that the local residents would be against with. When we looked at and we ran the decibel and noise level, noise pollution measurements, we ran 20 decibels below the regular sweepers that the city was using. So that led to the conclusion that in the future, this type of cleaning can be done at nights. We also measured what the residents did actually think about the sweeper, and I think it was very encouraging. The residents, out of 67 respondents, they basically get back to us with only marginal number, was it 2 or 3 responses where they considered that this autonomous sweeper was hindering, affecting their moving in the city. So mobility-wise, suddenly we didn't anymore have a fleet of sweepers in the daytime. It was at nighttime when there was less traffic and people felt that this is going to make their moving and living easier. Some of the main comments that they've said that they really wanted to have the cleanliness rate, that the nighttime cleaning could improve. Same way they didn't feel that it really obstructed any movements. The main concerns that the residents would have were related to the technology. What happens if it hits someone, and what hinders it from and blocks it from hitting any other vehicles? The reality is that slow-moving autonomous vehicle stops faster than a manned vehicle run with a diesel engine. So that's basically the end result that we concluded, that every single time this sweeper went there, if there was any obstacles, any sudden moments, kids running, the sweeper stopped faster than a human eye could do it. Last big improvement.
Hi, Julian.
Okay. Yeah. So just to conclude, conclude, main thing it still is the sweeping. And one thing that we found was that when we swept around the Helsinki city streets at nights, we were removing over 30% of quartz dust, which in some industrial districts translates to silica dust. In some of the Scandinavian countries, we are very focused about PM 2.5, PM 10 level street dust. This is harmful for air quality of the modern cities. And only way to actually combat this when you have a lot of construction sites around is to continuously improve cleanliness rate. And that's what can be done through autonomy, not through manned labor. If you're interested on the actual case study and what we do next, what we offer, I'm very happy to answer any questions. We do have fully remote-driven sweepers coming to the market next year. Also, the autonomy will be allowed for those cities who explore it through the pilot program. Thank you.
Thank you, Antti. The next one is going to be Puro Planet, and it's Rami, yes, the CEO, who is going to make the presentation. Yes, here.
Brilliant. Hi all, my name is Rami Alanko. I'm the co-founder of Puro Planet. I'm here with Mika Harlo, who's my co-founder just as well. Mika, raise your hand, please. Very good. So yeah, we are here to launch WaterCube for the Spanish market. We're looking for the first pilots for the installation next year. Now, what is WaterCube? Think of it as a beautiful glass-walled freshwater source or fountain that takes the water from the sea and uses solar energy to produce it. Is there any value to it? Well, when we started this project, we looked into various water-related problems. One of the biggest things that really bothers me a lot are the water bottles. Think of it, every single person over here drinks bottled water. I can see a few bottles over there. And very often, unfortunately, they end up in the sea. 1,500 bottles per minute globally. And no wonder our seas are getting polluted. And one plastic bottle, it takes 450 years to decompose. Challenge. Second challenge, related to bottled water, is the transportation. Every single week in the US, over 40,000 trucks are just carrying water. Bad for the environment, right? Third problem, the groundwater. Globally, if you think about it, roughly 30% of our water reserves is drying out, disappearing simply. It's happening in India, in Asian countries, it's even happening in California, and definitely here in Spain just as well. Look at these numbers. The southern part of Spain is really drying out. And that's why our mission is simply to provide fresh drinking water which is produced environmentally friendly, using sun, using the seawater, and we want to produce it locally, so we don't need the transportation. So what is it then? It's basically a water cube. It's a glass-walled cube that includes top quality water processing technology that is patented with many, many patents. It includes batteries when there is not enough sun. So for 6 days it runs without sunshine. It includes payment systems. So if our client wants to charge of the water, we provide the payment system to us as well. Or if you want to provide it free of charge, then any card can do so that the persons or people can consume, you'd say 5-10 liters per person per day. And by us, it is monitored and surveilled every single second of the day remotely, meaning that no resources is needed by the municipality or our clients. We ensure that the water is top quality at all times. So, how does it work? And the beautiful thing is also efficient. It produces over 100,000 liters fresh water per every day. And that's a lot. We sell it on a monthly basis, installation, hardware, accessories, and the maintenance included, with a very cost-efficient manner. So I didn't want to spend too much of the time. Thank you all.
Thank you. And then our last startup is going to be Métrica 6. The CEO is Eduardo Dueñas. He's online as well, couldn't attend due to COVID. So please, Eduardo.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm going to share my screen now. But meanwhile, I wanted to thank the organization for the opportunity of letting us present today, even though we couldn't share the time with you presently there on live. So here it is. I think you can already see the presentation. Okay, perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. This is the last presentation. I'm going to be very, very brief because I want to share this kind of presentation, and this time with you on next events there in Distrito Cambio Climático. I'm Eduardo Dueñas. I'm founder and CEO of Métrica 6, which is a Spanish R&D company, and we are the creators of iMind. As cities are evolving, we need new instruments to measure and reduce the impact society and economic activities have on the carbon footprint to make cities, people, and activities more sustainable, aligned with what Distrito Cambio Climático is looking for with these challenges. So that's why we created iMind, a set of technological solutions that help to measure and reduce the environmental impact in cities caused by companies, citizens, and tourists. iMind has the potential to empower the circularity and sustainability in cities and industries, improving quality of life and service, and mitigating climate change. So the proposed solution is formed really as a catalog of solutions formed by the combination of digital tools based on artificial intelligence, big data, and IoT devices. So it's software plus hardware. This is an all-in-one modular technology that we can expand in an easy way depending on the needs of the project or the municipality. So the solution infrastructure related to this Distrito Cambio Climático's challenge includes water-saving solutions for hot water recirculation, smart irrigation, leak alert and stop, and consumption monitoring, air quality stations, and many other solutions for parking solutions, etc. And all of which are integrated into a web platform for managers and users, applying business intelligence. So we have here a platform for managers and decision makers, and also a mobile application for users like citizens, tourists, etc. So as I stated, there are several IoT devices in our catalog. Some of them are internationally patented, like our water-saving technology called YSense. Some of these solutions have already been successfully implemented in many projects for public and private customers and clients. So, for example, some of these technologies are, delivered nationally through distributors and into different private construction projects. Some of them are, for example, being implemented in the city of Granada for measuring the quality of the air and create new sustainable policies. And the sense of iMind, how we designed it, is to be modular. So in the sense that you can acquire just the type and number of units you need to customize your project. The outcomes we want for this project, the added value, are directly related to its degree of circularity, environmental, economic, and societal impact. That is why we added some KPIs to track the evolution of the performance of iMind and its real influence in two main features here. Reducing water consumption from citizens, tourists, and activities in coastal cities or in other inland cities. But here, for example, for Alicante, we focused on the bigger issues they have during summer, being a coastal city. Using Métrica 6 proprietary patented technology for saving water. So we want to reduce water consumption by 30% in volume and around 20% in costs, and also reducing CO2 emissions, pollution, and noise, using air quality index as the main KPI, because it is a standard in Europe, as you may know. All iMind functionalities have an impact in this KPI that is beneficial for all the society, not only for the users. And we expect a reduction between 10 to 25 index points. The impact of Metrica 6 solutions has been recognized by the World Tourism Organization from the United Nations as the most impactful European company working for the creation of sustainable and resilient cities and communities. Metrica 6 team is formed by 17 professionals with different technical and business background. Together with our partners, investors, and allies, we are capable of creating successful stories for the challenges in Distrito Cambio Climático. In fact, we are in our internationalization stage, looking for new strategic partners and investors to enter new markets and increase scalability. And thanks to Distrito Cambio Climático, with all the challenges, the potential for all the synergies here, we believe we can actually make a change. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much to all the startups for the presentation. Thanks also to the corporates and entities showing their challenges. The next big event will be the presentation of the collaboration resulting from this networking we had today. Y muchas gracias, bueno, a los asistentes por venir. Muchas gracias a los que nos han seguido online y nos vemos muy pronto. Gracias.